Ngāti whātua o rā kei tēnā koutou. We've heard from the matua, the tama kua upe hei wairua tapu, hei tō mai te māramatanga ki runga i a tātou. I appreciate the opportunity to participate in this important discussion, and I do want to thank Gary Taylor and EDS for the invitation. The Ngāi Tahu Takiwā is close to 14 million hectares. Of that area, just over 6.2 million hectares, or approximately 44%, is part of the conservation estate. That means that approximately 70% of New Zealand's conservation estate sits within our takiwā. In terms of a Ngāi Tahu perspective on the conservation estate, mahinga kai is central to the story. Mahinga kai is a blanket term that describes the harvest, preservation, transportation and trade of wild foods, plants and other natural resources. Mahinga kai sat at the heart of the pre-European Ngāi Tahu economy and forms the backbone of Ngāi Tahu material culture. However, in the 19th century, even where explicit protections were supposed to exist, mahinga kai were not protected. As a result, our Ngāi Tahu ancestors were largely cut off from the world they knew and kept out of the one that replaced it. The colonial system prioritised settled agriculture and other favoured settler uses of land and resources. Those forms of use could create private property rights, but seasonal mahinga kai, even though it had sustained Ngāi Tahu for generations, was treated as if it created no rights at all. The effect was to facilitate the flow of land from Ngāi Tahu to the Crown and early settlers. Large areas that had been wrested from Ngāi Tahu, often those deemed unsuitable for farming or labelled as wasteland, were retained by the Crown rather than sold and gradually set aside for public purposes. Through a patchwork of reserves, forest protections and eventually national parks, they were redefined as part of what we now call the conservation estate.